I was just scrolling through Twitter. Were you aware of the amount of love that Eddie has? There's two main reactions that I'm seeing: heartbroken and rage at the Duffers.
Yeah, I got a text from the Duffers a couple of weeks ago saying kind of, we're bracing ourselves.
I mean, what are you even looking for?
Madonna, Blondie, Bowie, Beatles, music! We need music!
This is music!
It's a completely overwhelming feeling. It's so lovely. Like the devotion that the fans have for the show and kind of how they've found space in their heart for a new character. It's heartwarming. I don't really know what to say about it. They've been so gracious and welcoming. It's lovely.
Chrissy, this is from you.
So let's get into it specifically. When did the brothers tell you that Eddie goes out as a hero?
Well, they didn't kind of tell me specifically. They kind of texted me during the hiatus being like, can you play guitar? And I said, yes. ? Nothing. and then they just kind of dropped the last 3 scripts into my inbox, and kind of I read it and then didn't really talk to them until we kind of went back to film. And I was just like, are you kidding? I just think I think there's very few worlds in which, and I think it might be the only world where like a sequence like that kind of can exist and it not feel ridiculous. I mean, obviously it is ridiculous, but it feels earned and it feels fun and it feels like the perfect crescendo for this crazy sequence. And I just think the inventiveness to kind of come up with that and the bravery to put it in is kind of, well done, Duffer Brothers.
So how much of that is you playing Master of Puppets? It's an awesome moment.
It's pretty much all of me, yeah. I kind of, we got this kind of black belt metal guitarist to play the solo because that just wasn't going to happen. But I was lucky that I played guitar since I was quite young, so I had kind of the foundations to kind of take most of it. But yeah, it's great fun. You know, who wouldn't want to kind of be a rock star for an afternoon or an evening?
Yeah.
You know.
Once you saw the final episode, what was your reaction to watching Dustin talk to Eddie's uncle and having that moment of closure for Eddie's uncle?
I wish everyone had gotten to know him. Really know him. Because they would have loved him. Mr. Munson. They would have loved him. Even in the end, he never stopped being Eddie. Despite everything.
Oh, it's so beautiful, isn't it? I think that where they both did that scene so delicately and gorgeous. It was so gorgeous. And I think kind of the main injustice that I think people are kind of, the pill that people are kind of finding hard to swallow is the fact that he people don't know that he dies a hero. It's quite the opposite, you know. He dies a villain. And I think kind of the tenderness in the fact that kind of the uncle, Eddie's uncle knows that he wasn't that person. It's very touching, but it's still not right, you know.
Absolutely. In your mind, what makes that flip for Eddie, where he goes from the guy who's gonna run away to the guy who's gonna make that final stand?
I think it's kind of like towards the end of episode 7. Or kind of at the beginning of episode 8, where they're kind of planning to go to the war zone. But there is literally a scene where they're kind of getting ready and kind of preparing for the battle, where Eddie has this scene with Dustin and says there will be no more running for Eddie Vanished. So I think kind of around about then, I think he kind of decides to kind of try and gather himself.
Were there any other scenes as a fan that you were like, because there's a lot in that last episode that the fans are going to really be drawn to. Was there anything that you personally as a fan were like, yes, this is a moment aside from your characters?
Oh, I love the bit when Nat just shoots the out of Vecna. That bit, I don't know if I can swear, but yeah, that bit where the shotgun slow-mo moment is kind of pretty. I remember thinking that was great. Joe's got a great monologue with Nat as well, where he's kind of talking about banging his head as an infant. Anything that I find Joe's stuff so funny. There's a great line that Millie has where she says, I piggybacked here from a pizza dough oven.
I piggybacked from a pizza dough freezer. What?
From a pizza dough refrigerator or something like that, which I think is so good. I mean, there's so many brilliant moments that are just, I think, Finn's monologue to Millie is just devastating when she's kind of, you know, in a tight spot, and it's kind of him telling her how much he loves her, and he loves her on her good days and her bad days.
And Hopper and Joyce.
Hopper and Joyce. I think that moment where they're getting kind of undressed and they're almost like kind of teenagers again. I think Murray with the flamethrower. I mean, we're kind of spoiled. I think it's just one moment after another. I think it's an astonishing achievement for the Duffer Brothers to kind of to tie all of these stories together in this kind of this feature length kind of episode. It's just what an achievement. It's kind of, I don't know, it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure when you, at the beginning of any creative endeavor, you never really know which way it's going to go. But then to get that reaction from people, as you said, must be staggering.
Well, it's incredibly gratifying. You know, we've been sat on this for many years. You know, it was kind of my pandemic at the beginning of the kind of Stranger Things journey, as it were. I went out, did my first day. We went into lockdown. There was a kind of 6-month hiatus, and then kind of we got to work. And I mean, the show this season, the scale of it is enormous, and the ambition is kind of ridiculous. So there was no way that it couldn't be this kind of pretty truncated and kind of mammoth process. And you know, everyone worked so hard on it, you know, and it was kind of because of the kind of COVID regulations, it made everything kind of even harder. But the fact that it's kind of we put it out there and it's been so well received, and obviously personally, like for the character that I played, for people to kind of be so welcoming, it's kind of it feels like a big exhale, to be honest.
Yeah, well done, man, well done. And sad we won't be seeing you in the next season, right?
Hey, you know, it's a shame, but to have been in it at all is a remarkable privilege. Yeah.